Welcome back to another episode of the What Do We Do podcast. On today's show, we're talking name, image, likeness, aka NIL. And I'm joined in studio with none other than our very own NIL student athletes, Ashleigh Tatara, Rushton, and Dante Davidson. And they're here to break it all down. Real life, real NIL. It's going to be a great show, so let's go. Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land and podcast nation. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the What Do We Do podcast. I'm your host, Dewey Steffen, and this is another guest episode. That's where we bring on a leader in the community who has a story to tell, knowledge to share, and advice to give. And then we bring them on into the studio so that they can share that knowledge, share that wisdom with all of us in our community. And for this episode, I have not one, not two, but three guests. Welcome, team.
How you doing?
Good to see y'all. And we're going to jump right on into it. This episode is all about NIL, name, image, likeness. And for those that don't know, that has to do with being a student athlete, primarily in college across the country. There is some that is now high school, and we'll talk about that. But this is something that has happened more recently. And at our investment firm, Great Lakes Wealth, we're very proud that this year we've sponsored three student athletes who we have here today, and they primarily represent this brand, our What Do We Do podcast brand. But we're going to talk to them for the next, 30 minutes to an hour about their experience so far and about really all things NIL. So with that, I'd like to welcome you all to the show, and we're going to start right out of the gate, and I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, your name, and then what sport do you play?
Hi, I'm Ashleigh Tatara. I play softball at Clear University. I'm a catcher. What else was there?
Well, that will be it for right this second.
Perfect.
But tell you what, since we're on that topic, how about you tell us right out of the gate the high points and low point of your athletic career?
The low point of my athletic career was probably my junior year of high school. I was honestly at the top of my game. I was playing great, and then I kind of threw out my shoulder, and I couldn't play for a long time, and that was just super bad for the mental health, for my game. Honestly, after that injury, I haven't been quite as good ever since. But that was probably my low point. And my high point was probably the point where I'm at right now. I'm just having so much fun in college. I love being on the college softball team. My coaches are amazing. My teammates are amazing. It's just an experience, playing a college sport, going on the trips with your teammates, sitting on the bus, doing all that fun stuff. It's just awesome.
That's fantastic, and I can't wait to hear more about that. But next up, please share your name, your sport, and then go right on into the high point of your career and the low point to this point.
All right. My name's Olivia Rushton. I like to go by Liv, though. I played golf at Clear University, and I'm a sophomore as well. So I would say when it comes to low points, I have a couple of them, but the main one would probably be my senior year of high school. I played varsity golf all 4 years, but my senior year I really thrived, and I was doing really good all season. And then right at the very end, regionals really kicked me in the butt, and I just didn't make it to state finals, and that really sucked for me as a senior, especially. But I would say for a high point would be probably going into my freshman year of college, just because new sport, new team. I wanted to succeed in the golf world, and I was doing really good my freshman year, and then it kind of went back downhill from there my sophomore year. But we'll get into that later.
Okay, so you had a low point in high school, then a high point in college, and then a low point in college, but we're going to turn the page,
Yes.
and you're going to share about the high point coming up.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're so glad you're here. And next up, who do we have over here?
My name's Dante Davidson. I'm a sophomore at Schoolcraft.
My man. Booyah.
Booyah. And I would say my low point was ninth grade of high school. I felt like I got backstabbed by my coach a little bit, so I decided to quit club soccer, and then I just ended up playing high school. But playing high school got me back in the rhythm of things, and then I would say my high point was these past 2 years playing at Schoolcraft. All the individual awards and all the team awards, they really they're awesome, and I created some great friends and great memories.
Well, that's fantastic as well. So I really do appreciate all three of you coming in. And we met, I guess, probably last summer or in the fall as you were starting this year's academic and athletic endeavors, right? And so we were excited to have our paths cross and kind of get into this thing called NIL. And so as we go through this, we're just going to kind of go real time and just kind of ask the questions as they come up. So my question to each of you would be when I approached you, or when we met each other and talked about name, image, likeness, and the opportunity that we could come up with, what was your original thought? Did you even know like what it was, how it might go? Was it a slam dunk, no-brainer in the beginning? Was it, are you crazy? And yes, someone twisted your arm to do it. But Liv, we're going to start with you.
So I really didn't know what NIL was at first. Ashleigh actually introduced me to it because you had talked to her prior. And she told me a little bit about it, but she didn't know about it either, really. And then I feel like kind of we were both a little scared at the beginning just because we didn't know what it was like at all. And then you kind of expressed yourself and told us about it and what it was, and we kind of started to feel a little bit more comfortable with it, and we're getting excited to work with you. So. And
how's it been going so far?
I think it's been going pretty well.
Awesome.
I like it.
Good. We're going to get more into that as well. Dante, what about you?
As you said, it was a total slam dunk. I knew what NIL was prior to when you reached out to me, and I got paid to play sport and got many opportunities, so it was awesome. I totally wanted to be a part of it.
Well, we're excited to have you on the team as well, for sure. And Ashleigh, what about you?
Oh, I was definitely excited to be a part of it, but I was a little bit confused because I was like, oh, I'm not famous. I don't play a D1 sport. Like, I go to an NAIA school. I just didn't even know that it was in the realm of possibility for me. But it was super awesome to, like, learn that that was possible for, like, lower level schools to have those opportunities as well.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a key point that we're going to talk about over and over today, is that you don't have to be the star quarterback at the number one ranked university in the country right now, which is, by the way, University of Michigan. Go Blue. Go Blue. Booyah, right? And but no, the opportunity is there. Scholarships are available to NAIA athletes, junior college athletes. So you can take advantage just by getting a scholarship to play a sport at a university, besides the academic scholarships and everything else that are there, right? But again, now I have this world of NIL, and to have that available to you, we're so excited to be able to provide that to the community, and we think it is win-win. So we're going to talk more about that as well. And I think that might be a good spot to start with, which would be, when we did first talking about it, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we talk about what you do for Great Lakes Wealth / what do we do? What are the requirements that you have, or what is it that we've talked about, and what are your contractual obligations? Dante?
I'll start it off. So we like to, what's the word? We like to sponsor the brand on our social medias once a week, and I think 4 times a month. Is that correct?
Stories once. What is it? Stories
once a week.
Once a week, 4 times
a week,
and then 2 posts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's promoting the brand.
For sure. So we use social media to promote it, and I'll start there. I think that's mainly what I do.
Has that been difficult, a challenge? When I approached each of you and talked about it, your generation keeps your socials very sacred, and not every single person the same, but whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram, whether it's, do you guys even have Facebook?
Yeah,
I do.
I do.
That was a joke.
I think it's quite easy, honestly. It's just one click away on your phone, but that doesn't mean you want to be like, can I swear, half-assing?
Yeah.
Probably not. You don't want to be half-assing what you're doing. You want to be, supporting your brand, posting things. So. But
a lot of times, again, you don't just want to put anything on a post, right?
Yeah.
Isn't there kind of like a story is one level because that just rolls away. Yeah. But if a post is there, that's like permanent, right?
That's there.
That's there. And again, we haven't talked about it, but really, you can always delete it. Like if it's something that you were contractually obligated to do, whether it's through our relationship or just in general, right? You're dating someone that doesn't work out. I don't know if you can hide them for a while, you can delete them for a while, you can bring them back, whatever, right? So, but going through it because this was new for our firm as well. We're not, NIL experts or marketing, strategists in this space, but trying to realize how to do things responsibly. There's a lot of responsibilities, and we'll talk about those as well. But in terms of just the ask, like, hey, just wear our brand and promote it and get people to follow the podcast, listen along. Obviously, we'll talk about merch and how you can revenue share and make a couple extra bucks by selling the merch. But, was it something that, again, you really had to think, do I want my personal, post, my personal handle, intruded upon, or do I want to water it down or not be what it was meant to be? What do you think, Ashleigh?
I think that is definitely a difficult part, is having such a drastic change from what you were posting to what you're now posting. I also feel like not that you shouldn't be careful on social media with what you post. I also feel that now there's certain things that I definitely shouldn't post, considering I'm representing you and your company. Does that make any sense?
I think it does quite a bit. You're in some ways you're maturing, or you're just realizing that it is not just a fun tool for doodling on. Like, it literally is a opportunity for business. It's a window into who you are, and it truly is. Like, if you think about NIL deeper, which we've talked about and we'll talk about more today, it is really the window into your brand.
Yeah, absolutely. Like how I just kind of noticed, not that I ever really did it before, but like, as I'm representing somebody else in their company and their like livelihood, I definitely shouldn't be posting pictures of me partying or partying, like bikini pics on the beach. Like, probably not the best idea.
Right.
But I also feel like that helps you realize things like that for your more future business life. Like, it's not all fun and games on social media, because it really does stay forever. Like, everything is out there. Even if you delete it, somebody has it.
Right. Liv?
I think I would just agree with Ashleigh on this. Like, she pretty much said it all, but just to say it again, like you have a reputation, and if you kind of just go ahead and ruin that, like, it can really interfere with your career and future jobs that you want to get. And I think that it's really important that we stick to what we know and what we need to do instead of just posting whatever we want. And I think that's very important.
Yeah, and along those same lines, I would imagine that your coach of the team you're on, as well as the university that you represent, I would imagine that they also have rules, or there's things you can't put as posts or stories, and you have some responsibility, if not a lot of responsibility. Yeah. So this was probably just an extension of that, but from an outside business, is it more intimidating? Or again, because actually, like, you could lose your scholarship. Like, all three of these folks are on scholarship at their schools for their sports, and so you might lose a little bit of whatever we're doing together, but you don't want to mess your scholarship up, right? And we've talked to other coaches at universities and other athletes that they know if they tweet the wrong thing or put the wrong thing out there, they could easily be instantly kicked off the team. Yeah. And that's a huge responsibility, because you're really just kind of having fun, right? So did this just, amplify that, or do you say, no, with our coaches, with our programs, they really don't care, like, what we do as long as it's legal?
I think it was a good thing. For me, we're stepping into our new life, and social media is an asset for us now, and it's, when we were younger, it's just like, a fun little game to doodle on and post whatever you'd like. But you can, use social media as an asset for businesses, for opportunities. And like you said, sports and this podcast and representing this brand is it's all part of it. So I think it was a good thing for me, to be honest.
Good. Ashleigh, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I would say,
like, with your coach on the softball team, and what your rules were as a freshman. So we'll also say all three sophomores. What's that?
Are we talking about what our coaches think about our social media posts too?
Just what you were told, like, when you joined the team, you can't do this, you can do this, you can't do this. And then as it relates to us saying you need to do this, we haven't said what you can or can't do, whether it's inappropriate or appropriate. We haven't laid that out, but we've told you what we expect from representing the brand, right? But I would just imagine your coaches and the university would even have bigger lists of don't do's, but
I gotcha.
I feel like we went through a little bit of a coaching change on the softball team this past year, but our new coach has made it very clear that if you are underage, drugs, alcohol, anything, absolutely not tolerated. But as far as social media goes and the presence of pictures online, it's my best guess that since it hasn't happened, nobody's gotten in trouble for their social media before. But I would think that if it got brought to their attention, then they would definitely handle it and it would not be good. Yeah. But they definitely said, like, don't present yourself in a bad light for this university. Like, if you're out and about wearing your Cleary gear, like, don't be messing around because that's our name on your shirt.
Right. And it sounds so easy, until you're in a situation, you're having some fun.
For sure, yeah.
And you just make a lapse in judgment. And if you make the wrong one, it's embarrassing maybe, but if you make a really wrong one, can derail what you worked so hard for, and we try to instill that when we're talking to you as well. What about on the golf team at Cleary?
So since me and Ashleigh go to the same school, like some of the university's rules are really the same for all sports. So my coach really just told us at the beginning, like, hey, don't do this, don't do that. And everyone was kind of pretty much understanding because obviously if you're underage, you shouldn't be doing those things anyways, but especially posting on your social media because that can really affect the school as well, not only you, but the school. And kind of make it not want people to go to Cleary if their reputation isn't the best, So I feel like that it's very important that they make sure that their students are doing what is right.
Yeah, have you had any situations or heard of any where a student, it could be in a different sport or whatever, did something that they probably regretted or they were disciplined for?
I know I haven't heard about anyone from my school. I don't know if Ashleigh has.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll leave it there. We'll leave he or she out of it. And but again, even if it's hard to kind of think about that, means that the school is probably doing the right thing. And it's always in life, right? This is a life lesson. It's always better to police on the front end. It's they say you can ask for forgiveness or ask for permission. Many times you can kind of get away with asking for forgiveness and sorry, it won't happen again. But you'll learn in business and certainly representing a university that you need to ask for permission ahead of time, right? And that whether it's a junior college or NAIA all the way up to D1, like in the old days, and really why I think NIL came about is those athletes were getting payments under the table. They were getting pay to play money.
Johnny Manziel.
Well, right. Johnny Manziel and many others. Rumor has it. Okay, rumor has it. But so NIL was meant to make it all above board. So again, but you have a responsibility. You can get your scholarship, but you're representing that school all the time. And as you mature, you just learn these things, and sometimes they're harder life lessons. But on that point, when I approached each of you and said, hey, let's do this, we at our firm, Great Lakes Wealth, and the What Do We Do podcast, had done some research to make sure that we weren't going to be putting ourselves in any trouble, and what would we be able to partner with you each on. But at the same time, we were very forward to say that you needed to go to your school first. Like you needed to get the permission of the school and find out what protocols they had. And we've talked to other potential student athletes to join our team, and it seems like every school almost has like a different way of going about it. They all kind of have the same thing. It's got to end up, you have to ask the right person, your coach, then the AD, then someone else. But what was the experience of you getting introduced to NIL at school? Because I actually know that they had some meetings before we even talked to you. They shared some ways to do it, right?
I was going to say. My athletic directors and my coach were both behind it. They thought it was a cool opportunity. And before you even reached out to me, there was a meeting that Schoolcraft was one of the first JUCOs in the school or in the country to let college athletes get paid by NIL. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then they introduced us to an app. It was called Open Doors. So I started applying for all these things, and then just by chance you reached out to me. So. And
I didn't catch you on Open Doors.
No,
let me tell you that. Have you had anybody else reach out to you since we started?
No, I tried Open Doors and it just didn't work out. No one reached out. So.
Yeah, we've done some research. Maybe we'll get into that and talk about like from the business side of things, what we found, in the last 6 months or so of doing this. But Liv, what about you as it relates to what we were talking about?
I would just say my school is definitely behind it as well, and I think Ashleigh can relate to that too. They were just really excited that I was doing this NIL deal, and they were just telling me how it was great for opportunities, and I think that it was good for me in the end anyways. So
Ashleigh, what about you?
Yeah, same thing. It wasn't super hard with Cleary, just kind of shoot a few emails out there, and they were really okay with it. They were super happy about it.
Did either of the schools or any of you with talking to the schools, did the schools seem like apprehensive? It sounds like they were like way on board with it, and Schoolcraft may have been as well, but we've learned that some schools are like, yeah, we don't know, because a lot of it is just so you know, and this is for the audience out there. There are rules, right? But there are laws. There are 32 states currently that have NIL laws, and then there are a bunch of rules from the NCAA or NJCAA. And again, universities and colleges don't want to mess with the rules, and they definitely don't want to break the laws, and nor do we, right? So there's a lot of, I don't know. And on your side, maybe apprehension. I don't know, what is I'm going to have to do, and is it I'm going to violate my privacy of my socials? But the schools sound like they needed a lot more info, or they kind of had the game together.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of any of the rules by any means, but we were one of the first colleges in America, one of the first JUCO colleges to give us the right of way to do the NIL. So I thought it was pretty cool. And like Ashleigh said in the beginning, like I never thought going to Schoolcraft I'd be able to get an NIL deal. I thought that was for the Michigans, the Michigan States, the LSU. So they seemed pretty happy to do it for the school and for the athletes.
Yeah, and it is it's important because the athletic departments at all schools are challenged. The things cost more. Over at Eastern Michigan University, they don't have a men's or women's soccer team currently, and swimming programs have been cut at places, and so there's just a lot that the athletic departments of the universities or schools are hoping that they can raise some additional funds. And so if they can help subsidize your scholarship by finding a corporate partner that comes on in independently and says they'll help you out, that's kind of the school is like happy because you're getting helped out.
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily have to do it. But it can also backfire on them too, right? Because they're not in control of it. And so some call it the Wild Wild West. It's kind of the Wild West, right? We're trying to figure it out, but at the same time, we're making sure that we document and do things the right way. What else? What was the biggest apprehension in the beginning, Ashleigh, that you had? What was it something that, you were, I don't know, worried about or anxious about really in the beginning?
I was mostly worried about my coach's approval. Since it was a new coach, I was kind of worried that he wouldn't want to start off his head coaching career with dealing with something new, but he was actually really good about it. He knew what it was. He was excited for me, so that kind of took away my worry, but I was kind of apprehensive to ask him about it because I was scared he was going to say no.
Has your coach, Liv, brought it up since you've done it at all and said, hey, awesome, or that's not awesome, or even mentioned it at all?
No, my coach, he's I wouldn't say he's different, but he doesn't really have a connection with his players. He kind of just is there and tells us when to be there, and he's not really nothing bad about him, but he just kind of just didn't talk to us that much really. So he didn't really check up, ask how it was or anything like that. So
okay, and that's it's kind of like a job, right?
Yeah.
For some degree. So I don't know how much they would ask you about your job, whatever that is, as well. But Dante, what about you? What
Yeah, I know you met Rick Larson, my coach, and were you guys chatting about that the whole time?
We were chatting about a few different things because your coach actually also coaches the men's golf team at Schoolcraft, and I was a student athlete there back in the day. I captained the golf team. So we have that in common, and I also walked on the soccer team. Yeah. So I'm a big proponent of student athletes, and I understand, and we talked about it before we went live recording, that it's a unique bond that you have with your teammates, but just going to school and playing a sport, that's like a club, just like the chess club or the math club or the singing club. And so, I have a suspicion that some of the teammates you have now will, be really important to you later on in life and your coaches as well. But
for sure.
So Rick and I were just talking about a bunch of different things.
Yeah, but other than that, he didn't bring it up too much to me, like whatsoever throughout the season. I think he was kind of dialed in on the end goal, holding up the trophy with the big ears, as you would say. So
yeah,
so he didn't bring it up much, but he was behind me, and I think that's all that matters.
And he didn't check in with you much during the season in terms of either, hey, I saw some posts, or not even really bringing it up or not mentioning it.
He did not. My assistant coach, Johnny Garcia, did. He's a younger guy on the rise, so he's more on the social media. So he was seeing all the posts I made, so he brought it up a few times and was happy for me. And as well with my teammates, they all thought it was pretty cool.
Anybody out of the three of you have any other teammates, or I guess anybody else that you know that has a current NIL deal with
I do not know.
company?
I don't. Most of my buddies all ended up quitting their sports careers, so I'm the only one left.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Not yet? Okay, well, again, so everyone out there watching and listening, you don't have to be a D1 athlete. You don't have to go to University of Michigan and play quarterback or running back or whatever. The opportunities are out there. But from our perspective as a member of our community, and we have a wealth management firm here in town. We also have this podcast that we want to promote and represent to what we consider the next generation of investors and those out there that have questions on what to do and what's going on out there. So when we came to terms to figure out what the promotion and what the sponsorship would be, working with Great Lakes Wealth and the What Do We Do podcast, and we talked about, again, doing some stories representing the podcast and then a post every other week when we do our new episodes to help promote those. Did that seem like, or is it, I guess, as we're doing it now, is it too cumbersome? Does it get in the way? Ashleigh, one of the first one that you did, you said you're going to do a TikTok and kind of a little story about it, right? And so go check out Ashleigh's TikTok. What's your handle over there? And, but that was a way, again, to kind of break the ice. And again, because it is where you can just hold something up and say, hey, check it out. Or again, you can really wear it at a spot. Like you took hers. You went to Indianapolis.
The Colts game.
Right, to the Colts game at Lucas Oil Stadium,
Yep.
right? So the merch and the brand are getting out there. But again, is it when the new month comes along, when the new month comes around, and you're like, okay, got to do some stories and some posts? Is it, oh boy, this is like going to be a pain in the butt, and I don't know if I'm going to get to it, or you just, I don't know, live?
I would say in the beginning it was kind of hard to remember because I would just be going around about my week and I'd be like, oh, I have to post one of my stories. Because really when you think about it, like 4 stories each week, you kind of get caught up in your weeks because they either go by really slow or they're going by really fast for you. But I think in the beginning it was like a little bit harder, but now I've gotten like a little routine. So I like know when I'm posting and know when I'm going to take pictures to go post. So I think it's gotten a little bit better.
Okay, cool. Ashleigh?
I think the stories are really easy. For me, the posting part is the hard part just because my imagination lacks a little bit sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I got to do this. But then I'm like, what do I do? What do we do?
What do we do? What Ashleigh do? Right? Love that. Dante, what about you?
I think the only thing for me is like you kind of want to use your social media to post the things you really love. Like for me, that's sports, friends, and at first it was kind of like I gotta post about something different. But this is the agreement I made, and now all my friends, my family, they think it's real awesome that I'm a NIL athlete. So the more posts I did, the more recognition and the more likes. So
I like that. We're going to stay on that topic. So now that you're doing it, what do your friends, teammates, family, what do they say about it? Good, bad, or indifferent?
Yeah, grandma and grandpa just want to buy all the merch. They love it. They want to just
What do we do podcast.com. Dante has a code. Give your discount code.
Dante 20, I believe.
Dante
correct?
20. Love it. Let's go.
Yeah, so grandparents, family, very supportive. Friends reached out, were curious about it, thought it was pretty cool. And I think for my teammates' sake, it's just more of like a a chance for them to be an NIL athlete, especially because you have the connection with Schoolcraft. So for the guys next year, if they reach out to you, I know they're in good hands.
So tell our audience the year that you had. So I'm going to put you on the spot. I want to hear about all your accolades this year because I have a backup questions on top of that. So tell us about your year. Your season just wrapped up. Okay. So congratulations, great season.
Yeah,
but awesome. Go ahead and, as Liv was telling me earlier, go ahead and give us your brag sheet.
Okay. I'll start with team awards because I don't want to be just the individual guy. We were ranked number 6 in the country all year. We placed in Tucson, Arizona for the national tournament, so there's only 12 teams a year that go. And Rick's big on trying to make Tucson every year because, it's real hard. It's real hard to make it there. And on top of the team awards, my individual awards, I leading scorer in the nation, first team All-American, and MCAAA MVP. So, nice. And player of the year. So it was an awesome year for me. With soccer, it's been ups and downs, and I guess this is my up right now. So
ride the wave, my friend. Ride the wave, right?
I'm just glad I never gave it up. Because I've had my lows, like we started off the podcast, where I didn't even know if I was good at soccer. So this was my year to really prove myself.
To prove yourself, and you did it. That's fantastic. The backup question to that is, again, whether it's this NIL partnership that we have, or just, again, with the year that you had, do your teammates, look up to you? Do they? There's a little bit of animosity. I don't know. I don't know what kind of deal he has with Great Lakes Wealth, or what do we do? But did it bring them closer to you? Push them away from you? It didn't really matter at all. What was the?
I'd say closer. I think this is my second year here, so I'm kind of in a leadership role. Along with I scored the most goals for Schoolcraft history, so a lot of the guys look up to me, and I try to always treat all my teammates with respect and love. So I think that's really where it stems from. It's not what I'm doing on the field. It's, my character off the field. I don't like to be a cocky guy or rub it in or, talk about all the individual things I did. I just like to have real connections with my teammates.
We need to get some of those teammates in here to check that fact. But no.
Yeah, they'd probably say different.
I'm teasing for sure. I've met many of your teammates, and you have a great squad.
Let me add in, there's about 5 or 6 players that could be possibly better than me on my team. Just because I score the goals doesn't mean I'm the best.
That's a great way to put it, for sure. Ladies, Ashleigh, what about you?
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure
no. Yeah, we go. What was the question? We were talking about
brag sheets.
What?
Brag about yourself, pretty much.
Oh, yeah. No.
The question.
Yeah, the question. We'll go with it. So for you two. So with Dante. So from our perspective, I guess I didn't want to become really noticed. Like, we want to be noticed, which is kind of the flip of the coin. We thought, so Ashleigh, we met first, yes. Right? And you mentioned that you were a softball player, and I was talking about, the opportunities we were looking to find student athletes to support. And so we said, let's reach out and let's talk. So we talked about it. And then from my side of it with our team, we thought you would be great. We certainly interviewed you. We talked a little bit about it. But then I'm like, you're going to be standing out there all by yourself. Like, anything else new to you. And I don't know, what goes on at your school and with your team. And we're here to try to bring our community more together, not to put anybody out there. And again, even if it's just a small local company like Great Lakes Wealth, but all of a sudden you're an NIL athlete, your teammates with it might be jealous. They just might be, I don't know, whatever, like resentful, like whatever the words are. Maybe it's cool, but we were worried. So that's where we said, is there maybe someone else on your team that we should talk about? She gave you some love. She said she's not on my team, but she goes to my school. That's awesome. My girl Liv, you can talk, right? And and so we thought, again, different sports, but that you guys could share an experience together and walk the journey. So with that, how has it been? Your season doesn't start till spring.
It does not, correct.
So, but you're repping the gear.
I am.
And you're doing winter workouts.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
6:30 lifts, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
So as the team, are they familiar with our brand and that you represent what do we do in Great Lakes Wealth? And do they bring it up or they don't care? No one really pays attention.
The people that bring it up mostly are my coaches, I would definitely say. Like, they're always like, oh, how's it going? Like, they really seem to care and wonder how it goes. And they really want to get a clip of this video and put it on our Cleary Softball Instagram. So
Right. Well, we'll have to give some clips, right? We'll have to get some good clips
That's
going.
another thing. I'm excited for all my people to see this. It's pretty cool. I mean, not everyone does a podcast, so it's pretty awesome.
Well, and again, it's one of the fastest growing financial podcasts in the country. I will give us a little representation right here.
Yeah.
We have over 90,000 direct views of the podcast, and we have over 2.5 million total views of the podcast if you count shorts, reels, and our TikToks. So if you add all those up, 2.5 million have seen pieces of What Do We Do so far. And after today, might be closer to 3 million. I don't know what's up, but anyway. So I know we always say we're just getting started.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so let's talk about with your coaches, yes, teammates not so much, and you're in winter workouts in the seasons in the spring.
yeah, I definitely wouldn't say my teammates are jealous though.
Yeah.
That is never a word I would use to describe them. Like a couple of them have been curious and asked about it, but none of them have seemed like mad or like, how did you get that? Or like anything like that. Like they're super nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
But could you imagine, like how they might,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like
I could imagine that, but I think everyone is really just excited for each other's opportunities. Like I've never really seen anybody get mad because somebody else got something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all pretty close.
Have you seen? I'll ask you. Have you seen Deion Sanders, the head coach of Colorado, and his son?
Yes.
His son's the quarterback.
Yeah.
And he has several NIL deals.
You can't really hate on that, though. Shador's
Right.
he's amazing.
He
so.
is amazing.
Okay, so that, but again, you should lift that up, right? So, but that's the approach. Some others would say it's not amazing. That's either whether it's jealous or just they have a different
Totally.
opinion,
Yeah.
right?
Which I don't understand why there's people out there that act that way, but
Yeah.
it's the world we live in,
That's the world we live in. All right, well, we're going to switch gears a little bit and go into the balance of sports with academics. The other thing that we were worried about as a company, because we want to be inclusive and we want to be good partners to help lift everyone up. We wanted to lift you three up and share, what we knew about business and about opportunities in marketing and branding to help you, again, have an opportunity to represent us, but also represent yourselves, and that there would be, just a mutually beneficial relationship that way. And I think we've certainly found that with all three of you, and we're totally stoked. But as it relates to, work-life balance, or in this case, study life, and not necessarily specific to representing our firm with NIL, but that coupled with work and coupled with just other things that might be distractions from your academics or your sports. Do you see anything there that gets in the way? Or
I want to say there's too many distractions with it. Like I said in the beginning, it's kind of all done on your phone, and we spend 7 hours on our phone anyway. So you might as well do something good for you to make money and whatnot. But I know if you're doing like the big things like JJ McCarthy doing the commercials there, it might get to be like, oh, this is a lot. But in my position, it's really been easy and it's been enjoyable. That's been the biggest thing. It's been enjoyable for sure.
Awesome, great, ladies.
For me, I think like having a part-time job and going to school and playing a sport, it can be a little bit harder to juggle all three of them. But I think since we are young and we do spend most of our times on our phones, it's like kind of like just a habit to like get on your phone, and it's super easy to just quick post. And just like since we're young and our generation knows a lot about the phones, it's pretty easy for us to do that. So
Yeah, not too difficult and not too much of a stretch for you either.
Nothing new. I probably take 400 pictures of myself on Snapchat every day, so it's not too much of a shift at all. But yeah, it's pretty. I would say it's not too bad to juggle the sports, the NIL, and the academics.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe if you were going to be like a nurse or something, then it could be. But
what have you declared a major yet?
yes, accounting.
Okay, cool. Liv.
Sports management.
Okay, Dante.
I'm kind of up in the air right now. It's business, but I kind of want to take it day by day and just knock out all the prereqs right now. So.
And you had a project in this last semester.
I'd love to talk about that.
So please, let's talk about that.
Yeah, it was a business project about entrepreneurs and all the big names, and everyone was doing like guys like Mark Wahlberg and stuff like that. And I decided to do you because I had a connection with you. I actually knew you. You're a businessman. You own multiple companies. So I just hyped you up throughout the whole paper and knocked it out. And I'm sure my professor loved it.
How did you want to share your grade you got on it?
100%.
100%. Booyah. I love that. That's great. What else should we talk about today? Maybe I know. Let's talk about what you do for us. We talked about it with some stories and some posts, but we've also, with the contracts that we have with each of you, said that we do want you to give back to the community. And so that this isn't actually the one that we're going to use, right? This is going to be an extra, but we've said that part of the contract that will be at least one in-person or equivalent events that we want to have either students in the community that might be in high school or their parents, in terms of, again, exploring colleges, exploring being student athletes, and being able to share your history or your story or your thoughts on the whole expedition, I guess. So that's something that we're excited about, because we want to be partners with you guys and have you promote our brands for sure, but we also like to give back and share. So besides that, which any comments on that? Is that something that you remember that we were
doing? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like the first time you texted us, emailed us rather, you said that we'd be doing a podcast. You said we'd be doing an event. So I think all three of us agreed to that, and we honestly enjoy doing it. Like I said, I think it's awesome to be doing this. I was a little nervous at first. My face got a little red into the first question you asked, but I'm kind of fitting in now. I feel
absolutely.
So.
Liv, same thing, right? You said you're a little nervous, and some people are more introverted, and some aren't necessarily, public speakers. I'm sure in your classwork you have to do group presentations.
I'm still definitely nervous right now, but it's a little bit better. But
yeah, I think it's just the cameras. Like if there's no cameras, we're already chatting and getting to know each other. But
just like being in someone's living room or basement or whatever it is, right? But what about? So we do other things. We also have revenue sharing with each of you on selling merch. So we gave you with no requirements, no minimums, no anything. It's just, hey, if you want to go ahead and try to even represent the our merchandise in our store and share more and more, that you could share in some of the revenue that's generated from that, right? And we did that kind of just as a way to help yourselves even more if you wanted to, and without it being, again, something that had to happen. But how have you found that to be, in terms of, like, that's weird, I have like a discount code for a merchandise store or for stuff, and again, I don't know what you do for work outside of school besides this, but is it uncomfortable, comfortable, no big deal repping the merch?
I think my family would love to. They wanted to buy all the things. So I don't know if they actually have got to it yet, but I know they've reached out to me and asked for the code and wanted to buy some of your merch. So, and also with me, it's great merch. I've wore it quite a bit since I got introduced to what Dewey D.
Was it too much? Was it too much, like too much pressure? Is it you felt obligated to, or not really? Or
I wouldn't say too much pressure. Just harder to get people to buy the merch, just because they don't really know what it is either. Like, it's not kind of like something like popular, like Nike or...
What? It's not a household name yet?
I know.
We'll get there.
It is, yeah. I know.
Right,
right.
And
I told my mom about it, and she was looking at the merch, and she was like, I think I'm going to buy some, and then she just never bought any.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll probably have some sort of a brainstorming session or some sort of collaboration, and we'll see, should we get some different merch? Should we get, whatever for 2024. So we'll talk more about that, and that's just good business all the way around. As it relates to what's next with each of you, you are just sophomores, so you have your sophomore year of then junior, and so you have 3 more seasons of your sport, right? And you have a little bit of a unique story that you'll share, I guess, coming through a little bit of it. But in general, you're gonna plan to transfer to a 4-year school and hopefully continue playing soccer?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for sure. There's, I think, 4 D1 schools in Michigan. That's the goal. If not, there's awesome D2 schools. So I just want to continue to play in soccer, and I think that's my goal in mind right now.
Awesome. Yeah. And as it relates to being a student athlete, being part of an NIL situation, do you ever think about doing any more with that, whether it's approaching us and saying, hey, Dewey, I'd like to do more with your company and here's what I propose, or hey, I've got my eyes on another company that I can kind of do whatever I'm doing for Great Lakes Wealth. Any thoughts on the
Now that you say
entrepreneurial
it,
side
totally.
of it?
I think there could be a lot of opportunities, maybe some money, and I would love to help you out. I've gotten to know you over the past few months, so that would be awesome. I haven't really thought about it up to now, but I think just starting here can lead to many opportunities, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I think
Liv.
being a part of an NIL deal for the first time is pretty exciting, and I don't want to kind of just throw that away after only doing it for a little bit of time. So I think I would definitely hit you back up because I want to
agree.
continue
I
doing
totally
that.
agree.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I feel like I could have a lot to learn from you. Like being an accounting major, there's definitely, I could probably, I would just love to shadow you for a day, see what you do, see what I'm
Let me
getting
add on to
myself
that.
into.
Yeah, let me add on to that too. 'Cause
Yep.
My goal is to, be an entrepreneur or own a business, and I would totally love to learn something from you, like Ashleigh said. So
Well, we appreciate that, and that's actually like one of the important parts of what we want to really get from our relationships with each of you is the ability to mentor you, the ability to share with you. It's great to have you represent the podcast brand to the community that we might not normally have access to, your peer group. We always say that the older generation are the ones that are investing and have, the money with what we do with our main business, Great Lakes Wealth, providing investment solutions for individuals, families, and organizations. But your generation are the ones that are curious. You are the ones that, if you make a really bad decision early with your money, you could lose everything that you worked so hard to get. Or when you first get something, are you doing the right thing with it? And financial literacy. They do teach it now, in high school, but when I was growing up, they didn't even teach it in high school, and most people still don't. Even if you're a business major, you don't really fully understand budgets and spending, and right. So we've always said that was, besides the compensation that you get, and you do get to keep the merch. We don't ask for it back. But besides that, we've always said basically our door is open. So you can, whether it's shadow us for a day or just you have access to us and our network. And that, I like to say is like priceless. It's like that old MasterCard commercial. Like, I know what I'm worth if I'm billing somebody for my time, but just in general, the connections, the context, the thoughts, the what do we do? I'll tell you what do we do about anything because you're part of our family now, right? So we encourage you to take advantage of that. And then also with like summertime, there's internships. So whether you're a business major or not, sports management, right? So there's opportunities to be an intern and get paid for summer work or work over the holidays. And we would rather continue to do work with people that we already are working with, So those are things that as we're evolving and trying to figure out, and we'd like to have different people that do different sports and have different life experiences because we get back from you in terms of watching your socials and seeing how you interact. And again, your stories and your posts, we get to learn more about who you are and how you spend your free time or your time doing your sport. But we also get to kind of get the vibe of your peer group. We kind of get the vibe of what makes you all excited or bummed out. And so we can learn from that as well. So it's kind of a two-way street.
Yeah.
Fair enough?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Well, we're going to go to a part of the show that is actually my favorite.
Okay.
This is called the What Ashleigh Do, the What Liv Do, and the What Dante Do segment. And for those out there watching in YouTube land or listening in Podcast Nation, this is the part of the show where we ask each of you, what would you tell your 18-year-old self or 18-year-olds out there today so that they could live their best life? Liv, we're going to start with you.
I am only a year older, so I feel like I would tell my 18-year-old self that keep on taking it day by day because you never know like what can happen tomorrow, and do not dwell on the past of what happened yesterday. I feel like I have really struggled with mental health my whole life, so being where I am right now, I have grown so much, and looking back at my 18-year-old self, I would be like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe like I've got this far, and I feel like this point in my life right now I'm really happy, and just pretty much the 18-year-olds out there, like just keep pushing yourself to do what you want to do. And if you wanted to go to college, like go to college. And if you wanted to play sport, like I wanted to play golf in college since I was very little, and I just kept on working towards that goal, and I finally got there, and it feels so amazing. So I feel like just whatever you're doing, just keep on pushing.
Keep on pushing. Don't give up.
Yep.
No doubt about it. Ashleigh?
If I could talk to my 18-year-old self, I would probably tell myself not to take myself so seriously. I've always been kind of like a perfectionist and always want everything to be perfect grades, perfect looks, perfect friends, just everything. I always wanted it to be like cross my T's, dot my I's. Like I want everything to be just perfect all the time. It was a terrible way to live. Everything was stressing me out all the time. And if I hadn't taken everything and myself so seriously, I probably would have learned that the small things aren't the end of the world, and they were making my quality of life worse from dwelling on them, when in actuality, looking back on those things that I was so upset and stressed about, I was like, well, that didn't really matter, did it? Like it didn't affect my life negatively, positively. It was just an occurrence, and occurrences happen. And I would kind of just tell myself to learn to let things go.
Let things go, and maybe don't sweat the little things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I was going to say that's kind of a slippery slope or a fine line, because if you're too chill and you're not focused enough, or you don't let some of those things get to you, then you don't excel, you don't exceed, right? And we'll switch back to the sports in a second. But how did you like balance that, or tell yourself don't sweat the little stuff, but also you still got to get that deadline and hit that thing?
No, I would say that my don't sweat the little things didn't really have to do with so much my performance at my place of work or my school work or anything. I would say it was more so like personal relationships with people, where I was just really concerned about what everyone thought of me and the way that like relationships would turn out and stuff. And someone would treat me bad, and I'd be really, really mad or upset or go crazy on them. But it didn't really matter in the long run. But relationships definitely do matter, but there's no reason to.
I totally get.
Yeah.
And they say that, again, for teenagers, all the teenagers out there listening for sure, that, again, you don't get hung up, whether it's your first love, your first crush, your first, I don't know, time have you smashed your car yet?
So many times.
Right.
I'm glad I haven't. That's
Okay,
that's
yeah,
a
I mean,
fear.
right.
That's a fear of mine, so.
I've got a son who's 20. I've got another son who's 16, and I have a daughter who's 14. And so same thing. I have to balance like being a father and telling them what they can and can't do, but also your car is gonna hit something somehow. Hopefully it's not a person, or it's not a totaled, but you're gonna hit a curb. You're gonna hit a thing. So if it happens, don't overreact, but certainly deal with it. And so that's the combination. And with relationships, I hear you 110%. So that's loud and clear on that one. Turn the page on that stuff.
That'd be a good summary. Don't overreact. Perfect.
Don't overreact, right? Dante, what about you?
Yeah, if I was to give
What Dante do?
If I was to give some 18-year-olds advice, because I was just 18 a month ago, so I kind of realized this over the past few years, it was just take your life day by day. I mean, I realized over my life I'm always waiting for the next thing. I'm waiting for prom. I'm waiting for graduation. I'm waiting for my driver's license, and so on and so forth. And you quickly realize you only get such a short life, and you just want to enjoy every moment, And if I could go back to my childhood right now, I totally would. So I don't want to ever fast forward life, and I just that's my thing. That's my advice.
Okay, well, I dig that one too, but at the same time, it's like you have to balance that, right? You don't want to be all work and no play, for sure. But if it's all like, hey, I just want to I want to smell all the roses. Like, some people say you got to stop and smell the roses. Like people are just workaholics, but I think you got to balance.
Well, I mean, just even like, not even with work, just fun. Like, enjoy your day. Don't get caught up in what's next, and take it day by day, because the quicker you fast forward your life, the quicker it goes away, you know?
Absolutely, for sure. That's all good advice. And as you were all saying that, I was thinking, we've had other athletes on our podcast. Hopefully, you've seen some of the past episodes, but we've had Jessica Korda on our podcast. She was one of the top 10 golfers in the world, and her sister Nellie is probably top 5 currently. But she spent an hour talking to us just about her playing golf from a young age. It comes from a very strong sports family, one of the top sports families in the world, probably, from what they all do and accomplish. And so, same thing. It was be balanced with your focus when you're playing golf, when you're focused when you're playing your sport, but then again, when you can, you need to step away and then enjoy the other things besides it. So I guess be in the moment, for sure, which makes sense. We've also had Austin Hatch on. If you remember Austin Hatch's story, he was offered a scholarship to go play at University of Michigan as a junior high player, and then he tragically lost his entire family in not one but 2 plane crashes. The first plane crash, killed like half his family for the story, and then he was flying again a few years later with his dad, and his father crashed that plane and killed the dad and whoever else was on the plane. And so Austin, had his he's a world-known public speaker now, and he uses the acronym GRIT. That you just have to be gritty. You just have to keep grinding and keep going. And so whether it's D1 athlete, so he ended up getting his scholarship committed and executed at University of Michigan. So even though he had some health issues that kept him from getting back to his elite status as a basketball player, he still was able to make the University of Michigan basketball team and got in a game and made a free throw. And now he, again, is a public speaker and does amazing things, talking about how life's not guaranteed, and taking to what you said to heart. But we also had Peter Vanderkay on. Peter was an Olympic swimmer who swam with Michael Phelps in some relays. He also went to University of Michigan and grew up, I think, in Rochester. And so they all didn't get any NIL money. There was no NIL when these cats were doing their sports.
Just got approved, a year ago, 2 years
It
ago?
was 2021, July of 2021. It was officially where it's become a thing. And so it is known as the Wild Wild West because there's a lot of uncertainties, and there's these things called collectives, and who can the businesses talk to the schools? Can they talk to the students? Who can they talk to? Can't talk to? So again, I'm going to wrap up the show by saying, that as one thing. Check out your specific university or college's situation if you are a student athlete and are considering any NIL opportunity. That's where it starts. You have a responsibility. We didn't talk today, get into details about, hopefully know how to do your taxes and understand the responsibilities to pay Uncle Sam if you have to for what you've earned. And so financial advisors can help you with that. And we've talked individually with each of you about how we'll help you with whatever it is you need to cover those bases, if you will. But before we get out of here for today, how about what's next for Ashleigh, whether it relates to what do we do, or your upcoming softball season, or what you even see maybe life after Cleary, if you want to be that ambitious. But what's next for Ashleigh?
Well, I'm definitely excited to keep doing this. I hope that everything can keep going well, and I'm definitely looking forward to maybe exploring some sort of internship with your company, Great Lakes Wealth. That'd be awesome. And softball this spring, I'm just hoping that I can be all healed up and ready to go. I have a little something going on with my wrist right now, but we'll see how that goes, and I'm just really excited to keep it moving. We're taking a trip to Florida for spring break to play some softball, so just all good things ahead for sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here, and good luck with this upcoming season for sure. Liv, what about you?
I would also say that I'm pretty excited because I want to keep working with you and possibly get an internship as well, because that would be pretty good on a resume as well for career job-wise. I would say I'm pretty excited for this season upcoming in the spring. Since I didn't get to play this fall season, I'm very hopeful that this spring season will go well for me because I really need it. And then I would just say that never mind. That was it.
That was it?
I lost my train of thought.
Okay, well then I'm going to say, since we didn't really bring it up, that's what we kind of alluded to earlier about you were not able to play on your team's fall schedule.
Yeah.
Still an active member of the team.
Yeah.
But you're really, I don't want to speak for you, but I think you're really excited to get back out there and whack that white little ball around. Right? So yeah, maybe talk about just how you dealt with not being able to play this fall and how you kept your positive attitude.
Yeah, so really at the beginning, I was very devastated, obviously, because I love golf and I've been playing since I was a little kid. So getting the news that I couldn't participate this fall was really devastating for me, but I got distractions. My boyfriend and he was a good distraction for me as well. We really just focused on schoolwork because school has always also been a struggle for me. So really just taking this time off and focusing on school has made me feel more comfortable in my schoolwork. I think I really needed that break of golf since I have been playing my whole entire life. I think that break in the end turned out to be good, and I'm really excited to get back in the spring.
Awesome. Well, we wish you all the luck in the world, and can't wait to see you out there.
Thanks.
Dante, what about you? What's next for Dante?
I just plan to keep riding the path I'm on right now with soccer. That's a good building block for me, and then along with figuring out what I'm going to do with school, figuring out what my career is going to be in. Back to what I said, it doesn't have to be every day. I'm trying to stress about what's next, but I think right now I'm on a good path, and I just plan to spend time with family and friends, and yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Train every day, so.
Train, right? Mind and body, right? Mind and body. Train, and one day at a time. And as I always say to those that are near and dear to me, make good decisions. MGD, make good decisions, right? All right, well, with that, I think we are running out of time. I'm going to give you each one last chance to share any knowledge, drop any knowledge with your peeps or anybody out there in YouTube Land or Podcast Nation. So we'll go in reverse order. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
I don't think I got anything, Dewey. I really don't. I don't know. Nothing's in mind. You asked me a question, so I'm kind of blank right now.
All right, well, we appreciate you being here, and thanks so much. Liv?
I think I'm all set.
Okay. Ashleigh?
Be kind to people. It's very important.
Be kind to people.
Yeah. Nice.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again, all of you, for being with me today. It's been great. To our audience out there, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the What Do We Do podcast. I'll look back over at this one. As I always say, live your best life. Be radically generous. A great big booyah to ya. And this has been another episode of the What Do We Do podcast, but we're just getting started. Cool, let's do a little cheers. Even though there's probably nothing in there. All right, cheers, you guys. Booyah.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general information purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or any specific security. It's only intended to provide education about the financial industry. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Any indices referenced for comparison are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. As always, please remember investing involves risks and possible loss of principal capital. Please seek advice from a licensed professional.